developing breeds of excellence.
Welcome to another episode of Soaring Eagle Talk Show. My name is Faith Ehe, and we'll be talking on an interesting topic, which is understanding the pain of growth. And here with me, we have a resource person who will be introducing himself briefly. So please, can you introduce yourself to us?
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Francis Ebuka, and I'm happy to be joining you for this show.
We're happy to have you too. Welcome.
Thank
Okay, just like the popular person which we know, Vicky James, right? She's a fashion designer, and is she's someone that we can actually look up to. That is, if you are into fashion designing, or we can get inspiration from her story. She was a dropout, a school dropout. She realized that this part or what she's studying is not what she would want to do, and then she had to drop out of school, and then she's now one of the top fashion designer in Nigeria, and if not also for Africa.
you.
Growth is a journey of transformation, but it's not always smooth. Growth is a journey of transformation, but it's not always smooth. I'll be asking, sir, is there something like pain of growth?
Okay. Yes, of course. There is something like pain of growth, of course.
Okay. So why is growth often challenging?
All right. When you talk about the pain of growth, I would most likely link this to what I term the pain of discipline. Yes, discipline comes with a particular pain, and as well, growth comes with a particular pain. So, for example, when you look at the life cycle of a plant, for instance, when you talk of growth, that plant is trying to germinate, that seed, sorry, is trying to germinate into a flower or into a tree, whatever it is. Now, within that process, so many mechanisms happen that are not well pleasant to the seed itself. You see that there are instances where the seed have to split itself. There are instances where the seed have to swell up. There are instances where the seed has to undergo processes that are, not favorable for the seed. But that process is necessary for that seed to do what? To germinate. So without those processes, the seed will not germinate. And that's what we can likely relate growth to. There are some things that will not necessarily happen to us if we don't go through the process of pain.
Okay, there are things that are not likely to happen to us if we don't go through the process of pain. Interesting. Can you share your personal experience where you faced significant pain or challenges during this period? Then how do you overcome it?
Wow, that's an interesting one. Okay. Um, well, there are so many instances personally in my life. I remembered back then in school, I was in the phase of life where I had to advance my studies, advance my career, and at the same time fend for myself in school. There were so many responsibilities that were on me, and there are times I needed to, um, pay my fees and all that to advance my career, right? So those moments were challenging for me because it was difficult. I needed to go through my studies. I needed to have time for my studies. I needed to have time to make, for my business and all that. So juggling those processes was very difficult for me. And yes, I was going through the process of growth. Yeah, I was trying to see that I have a vision actually. I wanted a first class in school. So in order to bring that vision to fruition, I needed to pay the price. So it was really challenging for me. The funds were not there. I need to work extra hours. I need to share my time between studies and my business and all that. So it was really, really challenging for me. Yeah.
Okay. So how were you able to navigate through those challenges?
Okay, thank you. I guess that's the second part of the question, right? Yeah. So one thing we must come to understand, because as young people, there is this notion that you want to achieve something, but you are not seeing the cost factor of what you're trying to achieve. So many young people want to achieve greatness, want to achieve their vision, but they are so carried out with the euphoria of that goal in mind, and they forgot the fact that there is a cost factor included in it. So how I was able to achieve that situation was that, first of all, we need to have this mindset that growth must come with a price. We need to develop the mindset in us that I must pay the price. I must give my time. I must pay extra. I must do the extra work. Because if that mindset is not there in the first place, you will see that you will think that you're going through strange things, not knowing that it's a normal process. So one of the things I did was that I had this mindset that what I'm going through is not peculiar to me. I'm just trying to evolve into a different version of myself, and it is a normal process. So I understood that this is normal. Then one of the things that also I did was that time was that let me say I developed systems. Yeah, I developed systems that help me to manage my time and my resources. I don't know if I should continue speaking, but these are what I did basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Growth actually come with price. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
What are the common challenges people face during the period of growth and transition?
Okay. One of the challenge people face, in the process of growth is, number one, let me use this word, the knowledge gap. Now, people don't have this knowledge that this thing I'm going into, this thing I want to get, this vision I'm looking at, they don't know the costs. They don't know the price that they have to pay. So most of the time when they are going through those things, um, they they are easily discouraged because they have not yet, just like we all know in the Christendom, they have not yet counted the cost factor that this is what this feat will require from me.
Okay. What will you advise? What is the best way to handle pain of growth? If you're advising someone, what is the best way to handle the pain of
Okay.
growth?
Okay. The first thing to do is that you need to first come to terms within yourself and understand that it's not peculiar to you. You are not going through a strange process. That height, that vision you are trying to achieve must take something from you. There's something my mentor normally say. He said that um, the cost of greatness is the greatness of the cost, right? Yeah. If you want to achieve something, you must know that it's not just about what you are trying to achieve. It's about the what you're willing to give up in order to achieve that thing. So if I must advise that person, number one, you must just know that, understand that it's a normal process in life. You must go through that phase. Then number two, you must be patient. Some people are not patient enough with growth. Some people want instant, they call it instant gratification. You are trying to pursue something 1 week, 2 week, 5 months, a year, and it's not coming out, and they don't have the patience, that ability to be patient. It could be a skill they want to learn. It could be a vision they're looking at. It could be one thing or the other. But after, there's something I read in a book, and someone want to bring down a rock, and after the 99 trial on that rock, after the 99 trial, that person gives up, right?
Yeah.
And that person tend to just, oh, this is not working, and I go my way. But that is not true, because Your 100 hitting of that rock was not what brought that rock down.
Yeah.
All those successful, hitting the rock, 1, 2, 50, 60, 70, all of them will accumulate eventually to bringing the rock down. So, number one, you must have it that this is a normal process. Number two, you must be patient with the phases of growth, because the truth is that growth must take time, depending on the vision you're looking at. There are some visions that are short term, middle term, long term. Depending on what you're looking at, the time factor is there. So you must be patient with the process of growth.
Okay, so we must be patient with the um and for us to actually achieve growth, we have to be patient. I understand that failure is a part of our life, right?
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
so how can one identify that the difficulties they are facing now are normal? How can they
Mm,
identify that this is normal?
Okay, thank you for that. Um, this question is very important because as some people go through life, at some point in time, they now discover that they have this belief, I've tried this thing severally and I'm failing. I've tried this thing severally and I'm failing. Why is it that I'm failing? Is it normal? Am I having a spiritual problem? Are some people at it on my village and all that? Well, what I have to say is this. Um, I remembered a story. We all know this story, right? Of someone, the person that invented the light bulb. Now, we know the story. We know how many times he tried and tried and tried. But those trials were not necessarily failure. So I think what I take from there is your interpretation of failure, how you perceive failure to be. Some people perceive failure that I've failed, I'm not good enough, I can't try again. But some people, they are faced with that same situation and they eventually have that same result. But the way they perceive that failure was different. To some people, they perceive it like I'm weak, I have low esteem, I'm not good enough. But to some people, they perceive it that no, could it be that I didn't do my best? Could it be that I could have read extra? Could it be that I could have gone the extra mile? So our perception of failure really matters so much. We must learn to embrace failure as okay, there is something I'm not doing right. This made me remember an exam I wrote. When I wrote that exam, the first time I didn't do well, but people around me were like, "But this guy is good. This guy is bright." I was like, "Yes," but on the background, I had to discover that, bro, it seems like there are areas you didn't really go in depth into. And by the time I went in depthly, second sitting for that exam, I made it through, right? So we must understand that we must accept failure. We must see failure from a different lens. Let's not take failure as I am weak, right? But we should see failure as a stepping stone towards what we want to achieve.
Okay, we should see failure as a stepping stone to what we want to achieve. That's interesting. So, how can one differentiate between growing pain and signs of stagnation?
Okay. Okay. Now, there's something I came across. I'll just reiterate what I said the first time. We have two kinds of pain. We have two kinds of pain in life. We have the pain of growth or the pain of discipline, and we have the pain of regret.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you need to really choose the kind of pain you want to eventually settle down in life with, right? Now, for the pain of growth, you have to understand that it's a temporal phase in your life. That thing you call stagnation, yeah, there's a thin line actually. There's a thin line because at some point in time, it seems like you are not making progress. At some point you see that it's like you are not advancing, but that doesn't mean that you are stagnant. It's just because that thing you are trying to achieve requires that necessary phase. Let me put it that way. Now, let me go back to the plant we started with. If the plant was in the seed was in the soil, and at a point, the seed tells itself, no, 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 I'm stagnated here. You know, let's make this narration right. I plant a seed of mango and you plant a seed of maize. And I do the same watering, I do the same, fertilizing and all that. After 5 days, I see the corn, the maize started sprouting out, right? Then you look at the mango and you're like, what's going on with you? Like you're not growing, you're stagnant. And you tend to like, I'm stagnant. Look at my colleague here. He has grown, he has made progress. What is happening to me? But there's a difference between a maize and a mango. That person you are seeing that is making progress may have a different vision of his life.
Yeah.
He's just growing for after 3 months, he may be building a bungalow, or you have a skyscraper in mind. So you must know that the higher the vision, let me put it that way, the higher what you have in mind, the higher the patient factor, the cost factor it will require from you. So you shouldn't compare yourself. Yeah, I'm trying not to digress from the question, right? You shouldn't compare yourself that you're not growing. You should understand that stagnancy, supposedly stagnancy, it may be that you have something bigger in mind you're pursuing, and it requires you to be patient.
Yeah, it also requires like more time.
Yeah, more time, yeah.
Okay. How do we cultivate a healthy growth mindset?
Wow. This is a very important question. Okay, how do we cultivate a growth mindset? Okay, let me approach it this way. Number one, you must you must expose yourself. Now, we're talking about the mind, and mindset is something that is shaped by different factors. Now, your mindset is shaped by your culture, your mindset is shaped by your environment, your mindset is shaped by the books you read, your mindset is shaped by the people you interact with. So, for growth mindset, it's still the same process of what? Mind development. So you must be conscious of your exposure. You must be conscious of your exposure. The more you expose yourself with people that don't value growth, the more you will not value growth. The more you expose yourself to colleagues that they settle for a life of mediocrity and average, the more you attend to do what? To settle for that. So that exposure is very, very important. Your environment is important as well. The books you read is important as well. I read a whole lot of books, and somehow they are beginning to shape my mentality about growth. I begin to see people that have grown and are still growing, and it does something to your mind. It tells you that, hey, yes, you think you've achieved something, but have you read about this person? Hey, I thought I have made progress, but I'm just reading about this person. He has blown my mind. I stumbled on something on internet. As per my career, I designed, and I was like, compared to this person, I'm very good. Somehow I encountered a lady online. My God, I saw her portfolio. It did something to my mind, right? I was like, bro, you think you are good, you think you are growing, but look at this person. And it started to shape my mentality. I began to see growth from a different standpoint, that I know that there can be more. So you shape your growth mentality by your exposure. Expose yourself to the right environment, growth environment. Expose yourself to the right people. Let there be destiny-minded people. Expose yourself to a culture that supports growth. Expose yourself to an organization that supports growth. And somehow you begin to develop a very strong growth mindset.
Wow, that is interesting. So we should expose ourselves to the right environment, right people, right books, and so on.
Culture, yeah.
Right culture. Okay, so why do young minds want to skip the process of growth in the quest for success?
Yeah, because it's painful. And any rational human being don't want to go through pain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
it's really painful, I can tell you. You know, if I'm to go back to the things I was doing to learn the skill I learned, I will tell you that at a point, if I remember one day I called my boss, I told him, "Sir, it's like they didn't build this thing for me." I was crying. Like
Wow.
it was painful. The disgrace, the shame. You go through the night rigors. At the end, you it's like there is nothing. You are not feeling it. You know, one thing that young people don't understand is, you see, growth is not something you see.
Mm.
Growth is not something. I don't know. Have you ever seen literally a plant growing?
No, you
No,
just wake up
you
and
just
see.
wake up like,
Mm.
but bro, how comes the blade, the full blown corn eventually? Growth is not something that is obvious. So young people don't want to, they want to evade that part because it is painful. So that's it. Yeah.
Growth is actually painful. What is your final thought to understanding the pain of growth? Now linking it to mentors actually in the process of growth.
Okay. When we talk of mentorship, um, I must say this. I must say this. You know, some people love what we call easy way out. Now, the fact that we discuss mentors does not mean you will not go through pain.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, some people say, "Oh, what do you have to do? Get a mentor, he will help you in life." It's yes, it is very, very true. Mentors they stand, they stand as your models. You are looking at them, and it is very easy to follow a model than crafting a new ground space for yourself. Yeah, you have examples of people that are going in have gone in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah.
It's much more easy to follow that path than to create your own new path, right? But the caveat here now is that even at that, it does not necessarily take out that part of pain. There are some price that there are some cup you must drink yourself. Your mentors are just there to guide you and pat you in the back. Oh, you have fallen down. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Oh, you are crying. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Oh, you are feeling like a failure. Congratulations. Well, they are just there to support you. Okay, take this step. Okay, do this. But you see, you must eventually drink that cup of the process. So, in summary, you must understand that mentorship does not take away the pain of growth. You must still pay the price yourself eventually.
Yeah. The fact that we have mentors doesn't mean that it's going to take away the pain
Yeah,
of growth.
yeah.
All right.
They can just help you to ease the process. I don't know if okay, let me say this now. I remembered back to my point, when I was learning a tech skill, I had a mentor. And my God, this guy was good. He was so good. Like anybody that asks of Ayo, they know him in town. This guy, but you know one thing, and that's what many young people fail to understand. They feel they are looking for the best mentors.
Okay.
They are looking for the most I have a mentor in my academics. His name is Dr. Sam. Now, they never knew that the higher this, the more anytime you meet Dr. Sam, right?
Yeah.
He exposes things to you, and you will know that you need to work, right? So no matter how good the mentor was at that point to me, I still put in the effort. I still showed up every day. I still practiced as if he was not there. You understand? So that's just the place of mentorship in growth.
Thank you very much for a wonderful explanation to all the questions which we asked. In conclusion, I would like to ask, what is the advice you would like to give to those persons who are struggling to grow but is trying hard to see how they learn from it?
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll just tell that individual, be proud of your pain. Be proud of your pain. You know, certain young people, when they're going through that pain factor, that transition process, they are tending to, they sometimes they feel shy, sometimes they feel um they hide it. I'm going through this. Oh, I'm wearing one trouser. Oh, I'm managing my resources. Oh, I'm trying to do this. And they tend to hide themselves. No, be proud of your pain, because you know that eventually this pain is leading you somewhere. So don't hide your pain. Let it out. Let people see what you're going through. Let people understand that yes, you're going through this because you are willing to pay the price for what you want to achieve. Thank you.
So sir, can you say that um the process must be followed and not be skipped?
All right. Um, you see, there are certain things in life that you can actually skip them. Yeah, there are certain things in life that you can wish at your discretion to, okay, I can skip this. But you see, for the process of growth, there are things you cannot skip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you skip them, something in life will still necessitate you to go back and take those stairs again. That is when someone is being, okay, let's go back to our plant instance we started initially. You have a seed in the soil and there is a process. When we talk of biology, we have photosynthesis. It's a process whereby green plants manufacture their food in the presence of what? Water and what? Carbon. Yeah, all that. Now, if that plant say, okay, I don't need water today, can you see that the water is depending on sunlight for photosynthesis to take place and many other factors, right, that we cannot see. So if one process is being skipped, the other factors, the other elements are affected, and eventually photosynthesis will not take place, right? So the same thing applies in this journey. There are certain knowledge you need. There are certain phases that will teach you that knowledge, and you will need them later in life. So don't truncate, don't skip, don't try to. It's just like a fraud, a frog, sorry. There are different stages. We have the egg stage, larva, pupa. Sorry, I'm giving biology, right? Because I love biology. Now, if that toad or that frog say, no, I'm tired of being in this egg stage. I want to be a pupa or an adult. And he breaks out from the shell or whatever immaturely. It will affect his growth. Something that he missed out, a nutrient or a nutrition that he missed in the egg stage, will affect him in other stage. So even if he transit into other stage, later in life, that stage will warrant and reveal that something is lacking. So combining these two examples to what we see, it must be followed if you want to grow holistically. It must be followed. You may eventually make progress, but it will reveal a weakness eventually. So if you want to grow holistically, if you want to achieve the vision entirely, you must just learn to take the process.
We must just learn to take the process and not skip any part of it because it's going to affect us, like in
Yeah.
the future.
Yes,
Affect
in the
the growth.
future, a point will come, you discover that, oh, I didn't take lesson 101. And lesson 301 is requiring lesson 101 to function. So how will you now cope, right? We have students that deals, they boycott their ways and gained, promoted themselves to next classes. In fact, recently, okay, let me not use this example, but I received so many calls. Okay, bro, please, can you do a master student meeting an undergraduate student for what? Projects. Okay, you want to do your thesis, you want to do your references. So how did you pass your undergraduate? Something was skipped. When I was in school, I have friends. Some paid to write their projects, but we decided to take the stairs. It's not like the funds were not there, but there was something we know that our masters or something in life will require that knowledge, right? So we decided to take the painstakingly follow the process of writing our project ourselves. Yeah. So at one point or the other in life, if you miss the step, you will see that you will be deficient. You will require that knowledge in order to make progress.
Okay, so when someone skip those process, there are challenges or there are repercussion that the person is going to face.
Yes,
So
please.
can you just mention those repercussions?
Okay, number one, you will have um let me be practical. Incompetence.
Mm.
Incompetence. Number two, um let me say advancement. You won't be able to advance from that level you are. There are certain things that certain phases in life should teach you. Now, sorry to digress, but this is very important for us. Now, so many young people want to go into marriage. It's fine, but if you look closely at their life, they have not learned the art of being single. They see marriage as a means to solve their self-esteem problem. They see marriage as a means to solve their loneliness problem. They see marriage as a means to complement them. But that is not the ultimate purpose for marriage, right? So I'm just trying to tell you that being single should teach you certain things. Being single you will learn certain things from that phase. How to manage yourself, how to relate to others, how to do certain things, so that when you now transit from that stage to being a married person, that other stage has taught you so many things that you need to know. So if you skip that process, number one, there will be ignorance in the new phase you are going into. And number two, you will not be able to advance from that stage. You may need to go back to that stage and learn the lesson for that stage before you eventually move forward.
Yeah, thank you very much for the answer. It is very important for us to note that we cannot um skip through this process. We have to be diligent. We have to make up our minds to follow through this process because it's going to affect us in the future. Just like the guest said, the person can be incompetent in what the person is supposed to do in the future. So we should take growth serious, and we should also note that pain is part of the growth process. I want to also remind us that growth is a journey of transformation, but it's not always smooth. I want us to put that in mind and also see how we can, walk through this part of growth and try to try to navigate our way through it. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. We hope to see you next time in our next